Buongiorno, everyone. Welcome to the live preview ahead of playing Arsenal again. Unfortunately, on Monday night. At least for weekends aren't ruined just yet, but your week will be probably on Monday night. We'll see what Robbie thinks of that, how confident he is heading into the game. But cheers for joining me again, Robbie. Blessed to have the Don in our company 2 times in a week, mate.
Twice in a week, man. It's like, we may as well, move. I'm going to move up to your place, or you move to my place, or something like that. You know what I mean? And then, the weird thing about it as well, right? In the next round of the FA Cup, we draw in Southampton. So we got them next week, and then next week Saturday we got them, and then on the Tuesday we got them again. It's crazy. Really? Yeah, because we got them in the league as well. So we'll play them on Saturday and then again on Tuesday. Mad.
That is mad. That's a mad coincidence. I mean, sure, I didn't even bother watching the FA Cup draw. What's the point when you're out of it? But Southampton, that's a decent draw. Is it? Could have been better, or could have been worse.
Southampton away, that's not a great draw. And then if they did it like as a double draw. So if we get through that, then we got Wolves away. So it's two, all Premier League teams we're getting all the way through, and all the way, those two will be away. So they'll both be tough. Well, if we got to get past Southampton first, and they're playing very well this season.
They are, and the nice easy draws as usual for the likes of Man City and Chelsea.
Tottenham,
Tottenham getting those bin men again, eh?
Yeah.
So Premier League this time, mate, not the FA Cup. And on the back of the last time we spoke, and obviously we spoke after the game, but you got to witness Brucey Ball in full effect, and you'll probably witness it exactly. It'll be like deja vu for you, Robbie, probably on a Monday night, because Brucey will be thinking, if that was a Premier League game the other night, that would have been 0-0, good point away from home at a difficult place in the Emirates, where we haven't got a good record. So do you expect the same again? Do you expect deja vu?
Yeah, I do. I expect the same sort of football like what you played last time. And I guess Steve Bruce will be looking on it and saying to himself, well, actually, we had a big chance near the end where we could have won it. So, and that's true. That is actually true. And also, I reckon he'll be looking at our game the other night against Crystal Palace, where they played in a very similar way, where they, low blocks, especially in the second half, they literally just camped out, you know what I mean? And we couldn't break them down. So Arsenal at the moment have a problem with a lack of creativity. We're finding it very, very difficult. We've been not just over the game we played against you. We've been finding it difficult all season to break teams down. So, yeah, I would expect Steve Bruce. I actually think it makes sense for him to play that way in the league against us because, I think if we palming you too open and, then Arsenal will have a lot of joy. But if he comes to frustrate, which is what he does very well, I think that will give us problems because we've not been breaking teams down very well at all.
Yeah, I watched the Palace game the other night, and I was surprised at how players were, especially after.
You didn't watch it till the end, I bet you. Surely you didn't watch it till the end.
Nah, I didn't. Nah, about the 60th minute, I stuck something else on.
Dead game, man, and we couldn't break them down. We just couldn't break them down. We couldn't get in behind them. We couldn't. We were just not. We just didn't really pose enough of a threat in that game, and that's been our problem all season. We lack that sort of creative player. We're relying on young kids like in Smith Rowe and Saka. They're great players. Don't get me wrong, great kids. But if they have an off night, there's no one else really that can unpick teams. And it's really weird because we've always been known over the years of having those sort of players that can do that. We've got one who's on his way out in Mesut Ozil. I think that was announced today that he's definitely going now. But we don't have no one else really that's that guy who can just unpick teams. And it's showing in these type of games when teams come and they're very defensive. Brighton were very defensive against us. We got a goal in the end, but it was hard work. Whereas teams that come and they're a bit more expansive, like Chelsea, we have a lot more joy against teams like that.
Exactly. I think that's why it works in teams' favours, especially there's no coincidence that Bruce and Hodgson, dinosaurs of the game, are. Look at how happy Hodgson was at full time. But fair play to him because obviously that is a good point for Palace, and we will see it as a good point. Make the club and Bruce will see it as a great point. We will see it as a good point, but you want more, don't you? You want to be entertained, and like you said, I was so surprised at how much Arsenal struggled to break Palace down. Obviously, not in terms of because they do just put everyone behind the ball like we did, but just not having that player put it through. Because I remember watching Arsenal 2000s, even a couple of years ago, where you always had players that could play brilliant balls. You always used to pass it in the net. You were quite famous for obviously trying to pass it in the net. And to see it now, that was like a different Arsenal to me the other night. It looked like the Arteta, like there was the Arteta I was seeing before he won a few games in a row. To be honest, I was surprised at how bad he's been.
It's almost like with Mikel Arteta, he's gone the other way. He came in, he knows that we've got defensive problems, which we do, right? So he looked to really tighten that up first. And to be fair to him, he's done pretty, even though our record doesn't really show it, but if you look at our defensive record in the league, it's pretty good. We're right up there, man. I mean, we haven't conceded a goal in 4 games. So we got a very mean defense, got a very good goalkeeper. We got very good defenders now. I mean, Pablo Mari, who played in the game when we played the other day, he was out the other night and he'll probably miss the game on Monday. But then Gabriel Magalhaes will come in. He's been our best defender this season. So he'll come. So, you know, defensively, Arsenal have been pretty strong this season. We haven't really considered. I think the only game where I can really see where we were wide open and it reminded me of like last season and the previous season where teams were counter-attacking and running straight through us was when we played Aston Villa. But apart from that, teams have not found it easy to break us down. So defensively, he's really improved that. However, it's been at the cost of the attacking flair. And also, I feel that there are some players in there that they are good enough to unpick teams. They do have that ability, but for some reason, they play too safe. Now, what I'm hoping, I'm hoping will go to our advantage on Monday night is that Thomas Partey's back. And a lot of people look at Thomas Partey and they say, "Oh, defensive midfielder." He's not really a defensive midfielder. He's a box-to-box player. He's very, very good at the ball. Got a good pass on him. He can go past players, and he's very, very strong. And I think him in from the start could be possibly that player who could make a difference in that midfield for Arsenal. So I think that's going to be very significant. I think Kieran Tierney, who he missed badly the other night, of course he played really well, and when we played you guys, he'll be back as well. What I'm being told, he should be fit and ready for that game as well. So those two will be very significant.
He's back, is he, Tierney? Because that was my next point. I thought Tierney was the man of the match in the cup, and then you can see how much you missed him. You see how much you missed him down that left-hand side against Palace. He's one of the best in the league for me, Tierney. So he's back, is he? Yeah,
he's they rested him out of that game because they said he has a bit of muscle tightness, and at the end of the game, Mikel Arteta said he's going to do an MRI, and immediately every Arsenal fan just went, "Here we go, out for the season," or something like that, because that, and he's had injury problems since he came from Celtic, but they did the MRI, they've done it, they said it's just precautionary why he was left out and that he should be fit for the Newcastle game. So that's big for us because he's that creative spark. He can, get down the wing and he can provide. And you saw against you guys, he played really, really well. And then, the other person that should be fit for that game as well is Martinelli. And again, he picked up an injury just before playing you guys, isn't it? He got injured in the warm-up.
What the warm-up, right?
He would have played in that game. He's been a real bright spark since he's come back off of a long-term injury. But I reckon he'll have some parts to play in the game as well, and he'll be chomping at the bit as well. And I hope he plays obviously for our sake, because he, again, is the type of player that is very brave, will run at defences, will try and get him behind. And, there's even a lot of rumours that maybe, or a lot of people saying, play him instead of Aubameyang, who's still not really, he's been on a full run of form this season, Aubameyang. And again, the other night against Palace, he had another blank. So, but, yeah, so I think squad-wise, you know, I mean, we should have a pretty full-strength team, Arsenal, apart from Pablo Mari. So that's the one good thing going for us. But we've got to start breaking teams down, and I think Bruce will be rubbing his hands together. Because Brucey Ball will definitely be in full effect on Monday. And on Monday, in the cup, I'll have a go at him for it. On Monday against Arsenal, I wouldn't really blame him after seeing how Palace did playing that style.
And I mentioned, obviously, I watched you against Palace. I don't know if you managed to catch any of Brucey Ball against Sheffield United, but Jesus Christ, mate. Like, that was strange because at the Emirates, I thought we did decent enough. I thought we'd get a good account of ourselves. If Andy Carroll puts one of the couple of chances away, we can see ourselves getting in the next round. But Sheffield United was one of the worst performances ever in a Newcastle United shirt from any player, from any manager. And the way he set up like 8 defensive players against Sheffield United, 5 at the back against bottom of the table, under pressure, no wins, was absolutely outrageous. And rightfully so. Now the press is actually starting to get on Brucey's back, thankfully. I mean, we've been calling for it for months. A lot of people were sticking up for him, but I think a lot of people are starting to wise up to it now. And he's saying that he's going to get a reaction out of the players on Monday night, and the gloves are off. He says he's going to go for it. So I'll look forward to that, but I cannot see it happening. But did you see how poor the Sheffield United game was, Robbie?
Terrible. I did watch the game, and Sheffield United deserved to win as well.
100%.
You know, I was just imagining your fans, because I was like, you know, remember Sheffield United, they won a game this season, and to win your first game, nobody wants that tag for your team. I mean, you couldn't even beat Sheffield United, so I'm hoping that will knock the confidence, and I'm sure it will, because you know, I mean, if you know, the defenders and that at Newcastle are going to be very tentative. Because they don't want to concede. They don't want to, you know, after losing to Sheffield United. I mean, Steve Bruce is under a lot of pressure, surely. So, yeah, but I watched that game. It was, you know, Newcastle just didn't turn up. It was just like, there was no tempo to their play. It was just like, I don't know, you could see that Newcastle are really struggling at the moment. They're really struggling to, I don't know what it is. It's just like no vibe around the team. There's no tempo. There's no, you know, I mean, it's just very flat. Very flat at the moment.
Definitely there's no cohesion, no chemistry, no ideas, because Brucey's just probably sitting on the sidelines eating bacon sarnies during the training. You know, there's no instruction to the players of what to do, how to go about playing, or how to win a game of football, who he's playing against. But what we'll touch on now, Robbie, there's a comment there actually. Let us see what you think of that, Robbie. Pepe, a rich man doing.
He's been very poor, and you know, he's got. I mean, I was saying to people, right, last season, his first season in the Premier League, he'll come good, because you know, the worst thing about him is you see glimpses of it. You see he does stuff that you think, yes, because he can score goals, he can create assists. He's a very, very skillful player, but his problem is moments. He's not a consistent player that, like, you know, when we played U10, he consistently throughout the game, he's a threat all game. You know what I mean? Every time he touched the ball, you're thinking, yeah, something might happen. With Pepe, he drifts in and out of games. You know what I mean? He might have a good moment in the game where he like beats 3 players and then he messes the cross up, or you know what I mean? He's just not consistent at the moment. And you know, I still think he's better than Joe Linton. He scored more goals than Joe Linton. He's created more assists than Joe Linton. And to be fair to Pepe, he's not started a lot of games this season, and that's the crazy thing at Arsenal. You know, I've said it before. You know, the player that makes the most money, Mesut Ozil, £350,000 a week, didn't even play. The guy who costs us the most money, Pepe, doesn't even play. You know, that just kind of sums up the mess we're in at the moment. But yeah, certainly he's been very, very disappointing this season. And yeah, I mean, it's looking like a complete waste of money at the moment, I'll be honest.
It's one of them. It wasn't his fault he cost that much money. And like you say, I've seen glimpses. He scored a few worldies from outside the box. I think some good free kicks.
That's what he's like. That's what he's like. Worldy. He'll do stuff. And that's what's the frustrating thing about him, because he can do stuff no one else on the pitch can do. but it's not. You don't do it enough, and you know that's what separates players that have got a lot of potential and a lot of ability to the great players like De Bruyne, who does it like all the way throughout a game. You know what I mean? It's like from start to finish, he's consistent, and that's the problem with Pepe. He's not.
Yeah. But just before we get into your score prediction, Robbie, I want to chuck this one at you. So put this out there, this little scenario. If Arsenal lost to Newcastle on Monday night, and then who have you got after that in the league?
Southampton.
And then after that, is it Man United?
Southampton, yeah. Man United at the end of the month, yeah.
So see, it could be a tricky January, but it will be after Monday night. But say if Carroll takes a chance, someone takes a chance, we end up winning 1-0 or something at the Emirates. You go on to lose or draw at Southampton, you probably get beat off Man United, maybe in their current form. Will Arteta be serious in the pressure then?
I don't think so, I think
really?
Now, I think he's weathered the storm. I think, listen, you can never say never. If you lost 5 games again in a row, then we're having to have serious questions. But I think he's weathered the storm now. So I think, the board look at it and think, listen, let's get till the end of the season. When he gets to the end of the season, then we're going to give him the funds to go again and try and build his own team. So I don't think I think, listen, he get a lot of grief off the fans. He get a lot of it, but I think the board do want to stick with him. I think they genuinely want this guy to succeed. And I think in the summer, they're going to give him funds. Whether it be enough funds or not, but they are going to give him funds. There's going to be a lot of players gone. There's going to be, at the end of this month, Ozil, or possibly next week, Ozil will be gone. Socrates is going. Kolasinac has gone. Mustafi will be gone at the end of the season. David Luiz will be gone. It's going to be a big clear out. There's a lot of players at the end of their contracts, right? Players that have been hanging on for dear life also because they're on massive wages. They're all going to be gone. And he's going to be able to bring in 4 or 5 of his own players. He's going to have a budget to spend big on, say, a creative midfielder, which we desperately need. He's going to be able to sort of put his own team together. And I think they want to get to that stage, then judge him. So, if I can look on the other way, and if he can get a couple of wins, if he can get a win against Newcastle, get something against Southampton, and then United at the end, we got a good record against Man United at home.
I hope you smash them, mate. I hope you smash them.
Yeah, we beat Man United away this season in the league as well. So, if he could get through those games, we could be looking at a completely different outlook to him at the moment, you know what I mean? But I do think they're looking to try their hardest to stick with him. So, and maybe that's not a bad thing. I mean, I was joking with my brother today. He's been saying to me, yeah, we should get in Nuno Espirito Santo. I'm like, yeah, they lost again today. And I go, they're below us. So,
Wolves are getting sucked into it, if you ask me, because I think they're 2 or 3 points above us, but we've got 2 games in hand. So all the pressure's on Bruce, all the focus is on Newcastle, maybe getting dragged into a relegation battle. But if we win on Monday night, we go above Wolves. So the pressure is definitely on. It's a big project, isn't it? To give Arteta as well. Like, if you're gonna trust him with money and stuff, so it'll be interesting to see how that gets on.
Big project. You know what? I want to ask you one question before you go, because St. Maximin, will he be playing on Monday?
Nah.
I know. Isn't he back in training now?
He's just in light training, mate. So he didn't even train with the squad yet. So he's just getting his fitness up. We're probably looking at the start of February for St. Maximin. So
I'll tell you, I really rate him.
He's one. We need him back, and he's probably going to save Bruce's job at some point if we don't pull the gun already, because our wins with him without him are just crazy. He just totally carries the team.
Really underrated player. I rate him. And what's happened to John Joe Shelby?
He's injured as well. He's got a bit of a muscle strain. He might be back on Monday. It wasn't mentioned. So probably not. Maybe the bench, but I doubt it. But hopefully Matty Longstaff will be back, because our midfield's that's our worst area, really. Midfield, no creativity in midfield, and now a bit like youth, really. I suppose. But at least we've got.
Yeah, hopefully Smith Rowe, one of those guys, can do the business for us. But will be a difficult game.
got voted FA Cup man of the round, didn't he? Smith Rowe, of course he did, after the VAR. And then you see on the pitch and getting the winner.
Yeah.
Great, and Robbie, he has the moment of truth in the score prediction for Monday night.
Oh, I'm going to go for 2-0.
Back-to-back 2-0s.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be, but we need an early goal. I think you're playing against a team like Newcastle or any team like that that's pretty defensive. You need that early goal to open it up a bit. If we can get that, I'm going 2-0.
2-0. I'll leave my prediction for AFTV. Make sure you tune into their live stream tomorrow at 7 p.m. Is it, Robbie?
Yeah, we got your live tomorrow at 7.
Spot on. So make sure everyone heads over to AFTV at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Thanks very much for your time again, Robbie. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Good luck. See you later, mate. Bye-bye.